We're living in times where we've been programmed to want instant results, instant gratification, instant resolution to all our problems. And the same thing applies to loneliness. I've fallen victim to this so many times, where I constantly wanted to have these feelings just instantly resolved, to have those deep, meaningful connections manifest immediately and resolve all my problems. But one thing that I'm trying to learn and really recognize right now is to befriend this concept of everything in divine timing. When it's meant for me, those meaningful connections will arrive in my life. But what constantly happens is that my mind will sabotage this by unconsciously setting out a message to the universe that I still feel that void, that I'm not able to surpass these feelings of loneliness, that I still feel that sense of lack, and that sabotages the manifestation of these deep, meaningful connections in life. And I want to contextualize this because something that I've gone through so many times in my life, trying to establish these deep, meaningful connections. But what really gives rise to these sabotaging events is oftentimes in my life, it was this feeling of not being worthy of having friends. And societal norms kept on resulting in a belief that said that I need to have friends. You need to have friends. You need to have deep, meaningful connections. And if you don't have that, there's something wrong with you. And so constantly we try and push against this world to try and bring those deep, meaningful connections into our life so that we can go out to society and say, look at me, I'm just as normal as everyone and I can fit in. I'm not a reject. I'm not someone who's not worthy of friendships. And because there's a societal norm out there that when you find yourself isolated and you have family or community members or be it anyone that you interact with, where they'll look at you and say, but you should have friends, if you don't have friends, there's something wrong. And it leaves a sense or this feeling where you feel like there's a void within you. Because in my life, oftentimes there were a lot of people when I was growing up that made me feel like something was wrong with me because I never had friends. And I should put myself out there so that I can attract these friends and relationships in my life. And I'm not doing enough. The effort, I'm not putting in the hard work and the effort in order to establish these meaningful connections. And I need to do more. I need to go out there. I need to put myself out there. I need to attend many events. I need to just be constantly out there. And that's the way to resolve this issue, because you are a problem because you don't have these relationships. And that's how I felt when I was growing up. I felt like there's something wrong with me because society and family kept telling me that you don't have friends. Like, what's wrong with you? Everyone has friends. There's something definitely wrong with you. And that sent a message to my subconscious mind that I'm not worthy and I need to do something about this. I need to fix this void. I need to fill it up with friendships and connections that I can fit in and be seen as normal. There were many times in my life when I forced myself to volunteer time at religious organizations to try and establish connections and friendships. And a lot of times I went out there with the intention of trying to find friends, with the intention of, resonating with some people and trying to find those connections, trying to do exactly what society and family were trying to push me towards, trying to find those meaningful connections. And I used to go to these organizations and volunteer my time, and I just couldn't seem to find those people that I resonate with. It almost felt like my energy was being drained. I used to go to these organizations, but I never felt part of like a community or part of a group. It almost felt like it was a superficial exercise. Like I'm just going there, but I'm not attracting those relationships. I had the same issue multiple times in my life. At a later stage, I started to grow this distrust for religious organizations, especially once you fall down the spiritual rabbit hole and your eyes start to open to a lot of it. And you start to realize that a lot of these organizations don't care about the individuals that are part of the organization. They care about fulfilling their purpose, but they'll leave the individuals that are part of the organizations suffering and being worse off. And a lot of this leaves a huge energy drainage on us. But in any case, I ended up trying to join other groups. So I even put myself out there and went for Aikido lessons, trying to establish connections. So not even with the goal of enjoying the very activity, just for trying to find connections, trying to find people that I could resonate with. And I couldn't establish any of these connections. And something that I've realized, right, going through this process of being with loneliness, trying to accept it and letting go of all these societal pressures and family pressures and just accepting the loneliness for what it is I started to recognize there's an important, really important aspect when it comes to loneliness, and that is learning to let go, learning to just let go of this need to want to attract those meaningful connections, let go of the societal pressures. And I know it's really difficult. It's really hard to let go and to allow our authentic self to come through. And oftentimes the mind will sabotage you because it will want the results immediately. But what we need to start recognizing, or what I need to start recognizing, is that a lot of these actions were communicating to the universe a sense of lack. Because I was going out there with the intention of finding meaningful connections, I was communicating to the universe that I feel a sense of void because I don't have these friends or meaningful connections in my life. And when they talk about this concept of the world is a mirror of your inner beliefs, that is how these actions tend to sabotage our divine timing to receive these meaningful connections. So it will delay it. It will delay a lot of the manifestation of these deep, meaningful connections in your life because of how it's communicating these beliefs that are deep-rooted within you. And all that it means is that we need to bring more awareness in our life. We need to bring that awareness to shift our mindset away from this loneliness and try and almost live to the point where you enjoy your own company and where you can feel as though you already have the deep, meaningful connections. So you start to live in the reality where you already have it, the beliefs, the feelings of a person who already has deep, meaningful connections. And then you'll start to attract whomever you need to be attracting into your life. And it's better to do so from a standpoint of authenticity. So once you've done the inner work to unveil your authentic self, that's when you can attract those meaningful connections. Now, in full disclosure, I don't think I'm even there yet. I still recognize that there's a lot of work that I still need to do. And part of this is a process because as I'm going through all these exercises and trying to reflect on a lot of these false personas and the traumas that I've been through in my past life, I'm starting to recognize that there's still a lot more work that I need to do. And even if I do attract those meaningful connections in my life, at this stage, they're probably not going to resonate with an more authentic version of myself. So it's about doing more work to try and unfold yourself until that divine timing is right and you attract those very deep, meaningful connections, because at that stage, you wouldn't even sabotage it. You would just naturally step into that authenticity. But at the same time, you wouldn't be a victim of your mind sabotaging a lot of what you really want in your life. And that's what's happening to me right now. A lot of times, my mind is ending up sabotaging a lot of what I want to attract into my life. So this is my final episode in the 10-part series on navigating loneliness, at least for now. But if any of this content resonates with you, please do like, share, and subscribe. You can watch the other episodes if you're still looking for more guidance on how I'm navigating loneliness. And with that, thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video.